Welcome to another edition of Data Center Pulse. I'm Dean Nelson.
And I'm Mark Thiele.
And here we are 3 years later. So we started Data Center Pulse on September 13th, 2008, to be specific. And both of us have new jobs now. Where do you work?
I work at Switch in Las Vegas, where I'm EVP of Data Center Technology.
And you came from Service Mesh, right? Before
I did.
Went over
yeah,
there.
That's right.
And I now work at eBay. I was at Sun Microsystems for a long time.
Ever.
And forever, yeah. And now I'm the Senior Director of Global Foundation Services. So I run bottom line infrastructure, everything physical, the way it's connected, secured, and how we procure and run it on its life cycle. So our jobs have kind of blossomed out, just like Data Center Pulse has kind of blossomed out.
Yeah, it's been hard. And trying to do our jobs and travel and keep up with Data Center Pulse has been problematic because we have big eyes.
So our intentions at the beginning of this were small first.
Yep.
And that was to go back and get our peers together and have conversations about what we're doing and to really help each other, share information, and be that point where you could have a conversation, not worry about being bombarded with vendors and people trying to sell you something.
And what's interesting is that core subject that really got us together to begin with has really happened. And it's actually done incredibly well and continues to be successful today. I mean, there's content on LinkedIn alone that could make run books for almost every activity that somebody's responsible for in a data center. There's just brilliant people contributing every day.
Yeah, and very different opinions too, which is great. But I think that's what this episode's all about. Mark and I sat down over the last couple of months and really just rethought, where are we? We feel like we haven't done anything, but we started reflecting back and a lot of good things have happened. What our original intentions were to try and create all these different things. Like you said, our eyes were very big. But we realized that we really need to get back to the basics.
Yeah.
We need to simplify this. So we're kind of hitting the reset button. And we wanted to step you through some of that. But why don't we start with, first off, where we are with the membership?
Yeah, so again, with our big eyes, thinking that we haven't done as much as we'd like to, we've still managed to grow membership to almost 2,200 members from countries all over the world. I mean, literally, we are represented on every continent on the planet.
66 plus countries.
66 plus countries, every industry, over 1,000 companies. And the membership really is just top notch. I mean, we've got all walks of life from the data center environment, from outside the building to inside the building to IT specific, and everything in between. And it's really brought an enormous amount of value to the membership at large because of that.
And I think what's come out of all this is that this isn't about the companies that are represented there. This is about the individuals. So that's very unique about Data Center Pulse. It's people like us coming together with opinions, and there's a lot of them, and discussing and debating those opinions. And that's turned into be very valuable for people. And so we want to get back to that. What was valuable to our members? What's valuable to the industry? Answer those two questions and stay focused on those pieces, right? Okay, so I want to reflect a little bit back on the last year. So again, we feel like we haven't done anything, but a lot of things have happened. So for example, we did the collaboration agreement with the Green Grid. And that was for us to be able to take the pulse, what's happening inside of our group, and be able to share it back with the Green Grid and all their member companies, et cetera, and start to really just share information back and forth. And that's turned out to be very valuable. Now, in February, we were at the technical conference that they hold 2 a year.
In Santa Clara.
And we had a Data Center Pulse session the first day. And that was to get together again, roll up the content, revalidate the top 10, what's hot, and then share it back out with the industry in real time the next day at their general session.
Right, and our membership and the industry at large tend to find the top 10 very valuable. I mean, we hear about companies and industry folks all the time who have referenced what we've done and are actually using it in their products. But what is really interesting about the top 10 and the agreement with the Green Grid is that we've become an extra, very deep and very serious validation point for what it is they're really trying to do. They're really trying to make sure that they help improve the industry as a whole, but they also value the fact that we can bring them unfiltered information from those of us that are actually running data centers on a daily basis, and make sure that they're representing the audience at large.
So that collaboration agreement has worked out really well. And I think, interestingly, the next thing that we worked on was RFPs. And I had a very personal thing with this in that we needed to build data centers. And I wanted to take all these lessons, all these discussions, all these concepts that we've been talking about, and put them into a project. So I remember it was 2009, the end of 2009, that we were at the 7x24 conference.
Right.
And it was you and I and Eddie and just a number of people.
Yep.
And after we had our session there, we got together and started talking about we should do an RFP, or we should do a project around the Chill Off 3.
Yep.
And all that turned into Project Mercury out of eBay. But we took the concepts that we took out of that session, hot water cooling, right, high temp, modularity, multi-tier, all those things, and give it to them and say, help us solve that.
Right, exactly. And that's where the real value comes in, is that it's interesting to note that many of us in the data center community don't always know exactly what to ask for when we go out to the industry. And a big value with Data Center Pulse is the fact that now our membership can be armed with the information they need to ask for the data center that they really need and ask for it intelligently. Whether that's a data center they're building or space that they're leasing, it makes no difference. They know what it is they need now, and they know how to ask for it. And as harsh as the word demand sounds, the bottom line is when you're spending that kind of money for your organization, you really should demand what you really need.
And understanding what others have done and be able to reference that and help your executives understand the value of it, et cetera, has been very valuable to a lot of people. At least that's the feedback I've gotten.
Exactly.
And so the RFP process through Data Center Pulse being public, first the data center design piece, and then the award process and how that worked. And then now sharing that info, we're sharing out the results of the project.
Right.
Coming up here later in the year. And that's going to go back through Data Center Pulse and Green Grid, et cetera. So that's another great action that we've now, I think, we're going to open that up to more people. If they're interested in having a public process like that, especially our members, or only our members, then they would be able to do something.
Right.
But you've also done quite a bit of speaking stuff, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I just got back from speaking in London at the Green Data Center Conference.
Okay.
I was in Hong Kong a week before, speaking again about data centers at a conference there, and both of us. I mean, our members,
Tim, Eddie,
Tim,
tons of people have been.
Jeremy, all these folks. So, Data Center Pulse and certainly the senior leadership have been very involved in conferences because I think the conferences realize the value that our membership brings, and they want to make sure that they're representing that membership effectively.
So now you got a little bit of an idea of what's been going on. We want to tell you what we're going to change. So we decided to first off build ourselves a little thing in our basement, to be able to have a place to talk about it.
Yeah, took us the weekend. I mean, the wives were mad. We spent the whole weekend building this little room.
But so now we can really get down to basics because this is really basic. So let's go to the next steps, Mark.
Yeah. So next steps. I mean, as Dean's already pointed out, we really do want to get back to basics, and the basics really revolve around supporting our initial mission. And our initial mission was representing our customers and giving them, our customers being our membership, and giving them the environment that allows for them to exchange ideas safely and securely without fear of spam, et cetera, et cetera. And so how we're going to do that is by having regular quarterly updates.
Content.
Bringing content to the market on a regular basis. As part of these updates, we'll talk about regular DCP activities, but we'll also bring special activities in, or debates, et cetera, important topics that the industry feels or is trending on at the time of those conversations. And we'll do both of those things either together or separately, but we will do 4 of each every year. And so that's from our perspective, that's a great way to help continue to represent our membership and continue to make sure that we're in this fast changing environment, we're continuing to get information out in front of the industry so that they can act on it and give our membership the products and services that they need.
Yeah, so the first one, we are going to communicate more, right? So everything that Mark was just talking about. The second one is that the top 10 is pretty important. And we still want to be able to publish that twice a year. And we do believe that the forums that we do that is a perfect opportunity. So we'll be continuing to do the stuff with the Green Grid. We'll be doing our update of the top 10 at the March session that's coming back up. And we'll be selecting another partner, or potentially Green Grid as well. But we believe we want to do this internationally, right?
Yes,
for the
absolutely.
second session.
Absolutely.
Okay, so at least twice a year. Okay? And again, the other industry events, but...
Yeah. So other industry events, I mean, we'll continue to participate in speaking opportunities as they become available. We'll continue to participate with Green Grid, as Dean pointed out. And I also want to mention that we will continue to make available the data center stack, data center pulse stack.
Yep.
Right, and the reason I bring that up is twofold. One is because that's a resource that many people have found very valuable, and we would continue to develop it, especially with our community's help. But just kind of from a pat ourselves on the back kind of thing for Data Center Pulse as a whole, is that it's really heartening to hear and see that major companies are using the data center stack to help operate their data centers, to do RFPs for services and for new data centers, et cetera.
Included in the RFPs.
Yeah, consultants are using it when they talk to customers. So it's really become a very valuable industry tool. And so again, going back to the points we were making earlier, we sometimes, because we have such big eyes, because we tend to want to bite off as much as possible and chew on all of it, think that we haven't done as much as we probably could. But the reality is that there is a lot of value being brought by our members, and we see it every day.
So we want to get back to that. What is the value to the industry? What is the value to our members? And that is really the pulse. So what is going on in this community? What are people doing? What are they thinking? What are they trending to? And having the people be able to collaborate with that and then be able to share that outside. So to recap, we're going to be communicating more. Quarterly, we're going to be having video updates of different things, like Mark was saying. The second one is that we will have the collaboration sessions and the output of the top 10 and those types of things at 2 different events twice a year. And thirdly, we're going to be continuing to drive the membership. We want to increase our membership. We want more people in there. The more minds in there, the better. And of course, we'll be working on the actual Data Center Pulse stack.
And we will continue to stay nonprofit.
Yes.
And
that's an important point. So as we said at the beginning, we're not here to make money on this. The value that's come out of it, I mean, the relationships that have been built and that network of people to be able to go get stuff done is absolutely phenomenal to me. The reach, when we can make a phone call, both inside and outside the group, and just get things done. It's amazing. So that we're going to continue to do that, all nonprofit.
And we are very strong at policing ourselves as an organization and as a leadership team to make sure that what is in the LinkedIn group for Data Center Pulse and what information is shared is appropriate and is not marketing or sales oriented, et cetera. And so it maintains that freedom of expression, freedom of idea exchange, without having to worry about somebody trying to follow up with you or somebody stealing your idea and putting their name on it or something like that.
And we're not perfect. So Mark does a great job, as the others, of policing and trying to figure out what the membership is and what changes. So people suddenly have sales in their title, right? So
it does happen.
You're removing people out of the group that way. But we also want the membership to self-police. So if you see something in there, and they've been doing this, right? Flag the content if it's not appropriate, and we'll address it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, okay, cool. Well, now we have an update of what's going on. We would love to get your feedback too. So on our core membership, please open up discussion threads in there if there's other things that you would like us to be looking at. We do want to keep this very simple, so we can keep our day jobs and the balance of this and still add value back to our membership and to the industry. So we're definitely keeping it simple. So thanks very much for watching this episode, and stay tuned for additional episodes as we reset and get back to basics.
Thank you very much.